I just recently started going to white church, and let me tell you something. My white church started at 11:45. I am out that bitch at 12:15. If that ain't Jesus, I don't know what is. White people get you in and get you the fuck out that bitch. You understand? Black churches take too fucking long. I show up in that bitch at 11:30. I leave that bitch at 3 p.m. Thursday morning. I ain't got time for that shit. I got shit to do, man. Who the fuck trying to be in church that long? And then here's the thing. When you're in white church, they got one song. They hit you with the ooh, the ah, you out. Ooh, ah, is one ooh, one ah, you out that bitch. Black churches got too many fucking songs, man. They got the junior choir, the senior choir. Grandma got a song she trying to sing. Look, Grandma, I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
Clayton Thomas is on the Adam Carolla Show.
B for the Bell podcast is Clayton's podcast, available wherever you find finer podcasts, Facebook, TikTok, all that.
Yeah, man.
As well. Any stand-up dates we need to think about, Clayton?
You know what's funny? I'm doing something tonight, but this will not be. Yeah, nothing really to promote. I'm not even on the road. No dates yet.
All right, but you will.
Yeah, I love going out.
By.
I would love to, man.
All right, so I got pages and pages of jokes, but the way it works is you get they give you an assignment. You get a category. Bradley Cooper's prosthetic nose from Maestro, right? And there was controversy around it. So then you got to write a few Bradley Cooper prosthetic jokes for Maestro.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you a few, none of which made the cut. You'll probably hear why. Bradley, a little advice. If you're going to go prosthetic, go Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights. All right.
Good advice.
Bradley took a lot of heat over his character's large nose. I don't know. Seemed like an average-sized raccoon's nose.
Love it.
That one you have to do the math on.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bradley Cooper had an even larger nose, but he smoked so much in that movie, it kept catching on fire.
Good.
And last but not least, you can make fun of that prosthetic nose all you want, but it's running Hollywood right now.
That one would never make it.
I would never make it, but it was my favorite.
That's the best one.
That was good.
It was my favorite joke, but there's no fucking way.
You cannot.
You cannot do that joke.
No.
All right, but once in a while when you write a joke, you go, "Oh, there's no fucking way."
Yeah.
But that's funny.
It's funny, man.
You gotta do it anyway.
So I'm throwing it in there anyway.
It's great.
Yeah. I don't know why. Sometimes it's hard to figure out why you like. I wrote that joke and I was like, I love that joke, but it's not a great joke, but it's just, there's something about it that I like, and you guys like it too, but
it's funny.
I don't know what. I mean, it's a little anti-Semitic. It's on the nose, but it's funny that his nose is running Hollywood right now.
Dude, that's
That
great.
would have got groans. That would have got groans in the building, but laughs on TV.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. Barbie costume design. I love Barbie, and it deserves all the accolades. You have to say that, too.
You got to say it.
Kicking his stuff.
Yeah.
But best costume design. All the costumes were based on Barbie's original outfits. This is fucking true, by the way. Shouldn't that nomination go to Mattel? All you did was send someone to the Joanne Fabrics and say, "This but bigger."
True, and that's true.
Your design research consisted of a trip to the toy aisle at the Target.
Yep.
You should also nominate the guy who designed Barbie's dream car. Oh, wait, Chevrolet already made that in 1956. Let's see. Oppenheimer also got best costume design. Oh, so this is the costume design department. Oppenheimer also got best costume design. How much designing was involved? Hey, Cillian Murphy, can you borrow one of your grandfather's suits?
Yeah, it's true.
Why costume
Like,
design?
you can't talk shit on a category. The whole category is your premise.
But that's not design.
It's totally true.
If you took any photograph of anybody in the stands of a Major League Baseball game in 1944, you're done with your research.
You're
That's the
done.
entire design.
You're not creating. Like Power Rangers, that's a costume
Power
design.
Rangers.
It's a fact.
That is a fact. This is you getting... shit. Just go get the wardrobe from movies that were made in the 50s and the
Right.
40s, and that's a.
This is a Warner Brothers movie.
What the fuck? Yeah,
you
just
have all the costumes.
Go to the storage
already.
locker. Just go get all the outfits from The Godfather, and there we're done. Because
Great point.
that's the year
Best
it took place.
costume recreation.
Yes, and Barbie was all designed for you.
Barbie was designed for you.
So what are we talking about?
None of those
here?
made it?
No, but
Damn.
listen, there's thousands of jokes.
I heard Kimmel had a stack of like 5,000 jokes they had to sift through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good problems.
Yes, first world.
I love that you guys are still close too, man. Like watching y'all on the Man Show was so dope. And seeing you both both be on top separately and still remain friends is amazing, man.
Well, I'm telling you, I got a piece of news because so my daughter went to the Academy Awards, and Uncle Jimmy, so nice, and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
And then she said, and he's got a trip planned for your 60th birthday, and I said, oh, but were you supposed to tell me that?
Oh.
And she said, oh, I don't know. And I said, well, listen, I'm a trained actor. I can act surprised. But then Jimmy texted me an hour after I talked to her, and he's like, oh, Natalia's great, and we're going somewhere for 60. I'm planning something.
Nice.
And he planned something for 50, and it was pretty damn
What was
killer. It was, well, so me... The Man Show was me, Daniel Kellison, and Jimmy all sitting in the same office. And me and Daniel turned 60 and 50, and you can do the math, all about the same time.
Uh-huh.
Jimmy's 3.5 years younger than we are. So when we turned 50, we went to wine country and stayed at one of these shishi resorts and did all the food testing and the tasting and the wines and ever. But now we're going 60. And he's in a little higher tax bracket.
You gotta go bigger.
Something at sea.
It's gonna be big.
No,
man.
I don't know, but he's working on something, and I'm like, knock yourself
That's
out,
amazing, man.
I know.
When is your birthday?
I got mine's in May.
I'm
Why
May
are you
9th.
confused about that?
You're May 9th?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about Daniel Kellison's.
Okay.
I was thinking it's his. My sister's May 9th.
Oh, wow. Small world.
Yeah. I don't know. Look up. You look up Daniel Kellison's birthday. It's probably up there somewhere. I can't remember if he's turns like September or something like that.
He's June.
Oh, he's June. All right.
June 28th.
All right. So we're right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
perfect timing. That's great
All
for
right.
y'all.
Yeah, can't wait.
60. Man, that's great.
Well, it's also, it's weird, because Chris has a story about Ben Shapiro who's trending because he said that the retirement age should be kicked back. Because 65, first off, I don't think people should retire. It's not healthy.
No.
They retire and then they
his
die.
Point. So, so he was on his podcast, and everyone's talking about this on Twitter. They're not happy with it, but here's a little clip of what he was saying.
Nobody's happy with anything.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick.
And also, he says, like, economically, it doesn't make sense that really, so you work from, let's say, the ages of 20 to 65, and then you get paid by Social Security, and you have to support yourself till you die for the next, 20 plus years. It doesn't make sense economically.
Well, when they decided
And your family
65, first off, it's because the system's going to be bankrupt. And so you're going to have to figure something out. And when it was established at 65 in the 40s,
Right.
People lived till 62.
Yeah.
So that was a no-brainer for the government.
Yeah.
You can pay into a system and you'll never crack that piggy bank. You've
Right.
been putting money in your whole life. Well, now people die at 80, so you're going to have to adjust it.
Yeah.
And anyone who gets pissed off about that's insane. It's like you just whatever it was. If people lived till 62 and now they live till almost 80, then kick it back to 72 or pick a number. But you have to kick it back. You're going to bankrupt the system.
Right. He said, like, FDR came up with this, like, back in the day.
Yeah, but I don't get why people are pissed. And people should work. They should have purpose. They should be moving. They should be engaged.
Yeah.
I think one, that, first of all, I cannot wait. I hope to God that I'm able to see and thrive and enjoy well into my 80s and 90s. I love senior citizens. I think it's an honor to grow old. And a good friend of mine, Alan Havey, he's up there, and I literally am jealous of his senior discounts. Like, we talk about it all the time. And in LA, the age is 55 for senior citizens, I believe, where you can start getting these deals, right?
Sure.
Now, as far as retirement in itself, there are a lot of older people that have very hard jobs that they should not be doing physically as they get older if they're not able to. But at the same time, I think that it's unfortunate that we do not treat our senior citizens as people anymore as they get older. But you do lose your purpose if you don't have that job. A lot of people, my mom and dad, that's all they knew was working. And my dad is gone, but my mom, I had to literally try and help her find
the
who
fight
she
game
is.
too, not just working. I mean, she was one of the bigger promoters in the Detroit area for a number of years, putting together
One of the bigger
prepubescent teams. Called it the Cereal Bowl League. She'd take young, upcoming guys with parental consent, put them together on the sidewalk. She got a taste, obviously.
The fight game.
The fight game. She was the Don King of the Detroit area.
I was not prepared, man. That is a fact. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about bankrupting the system, it could be pushed back. But I think, I don't know, I'm just always on the side of, I want people to enjoy the fruits of their labor. If you've worked at a factory for 40 years and you get to retire, your Social Security should be that and more of what you earned, as opposed to these stipends in small amounts.
Well, the problem is there used to be like 40 Americans paying for every one American that was on Social Security, and now it's like 2 Americans pay for every one that's on Social Security. So it's a system is going to bankrupt itself, and it needs to be adjusted. But it's such an unpopular across the board
Because nobody wants to give out their money.
It's a perfect storm, which is, it doesn't matter whether Democrat or Republican, getting up there and telling people you're going to have to wait another 5 years for your money is universally unpopular.
Yeah.
So nobody's running for anything will take a stand on it because they will not get the votes.
Exactly.
So that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, so 5 years from now, Adam, you'll be 65.
That's right.
Where do you think you'll be?
I'm moving into Jimmy's guest house.
Yeah.
I'm plan my 70th.
Yeah,
Plan my cruise
prepping.
for the 70th. That's my retirement plan.
Space training.
I'll write you half a joke for the Oscars every few years. I'll pay my way.
Yo, I cannot wait, man. I want to be, because here's the thing about working at McDonald's. What I did, I noticed the seniors would come in at about 7 and leave at like 9. You know what I mean? And it would start to get busy. You start seeing more youthful people. But it was like that piece for them, going in, just ordering a coffee and just kicking it and talking. And when you're a kid, you're like, oh, look at these old people. But now, like, I'm hanging out with Alan Havey and other dudes that are in their 60s and 70s. And it feels like, man, these guys are me. The only difference is just the time that they've been on the earth compared to me. It's like they're all the same. And I cannot wait.
I know.
Old people aren't that old anymore.
No.
Like, you know, you look at those like housewives of Beverly Hills or something. They're all in their 50s. You know what I mean? That ain't your mom's friends
No.
when you were a kid.
No.
They looked like older women. They had older women haircuts. They dressed like older women.
They smelled like older women?
They smelled like Sanka and mothballs.
Sanka!
And mothballs. Yeah, they had a smell.
Yeah.
There was nothing sexual.
No.
At all.
Oh, God.
About women
They
back
had
then.
slips and them granny pants. You didn't even look at. Oh,
Yeah. Now I know.
yeah.
Now I know.
And I love
They
the
wore
women
real
now.
sensible shoes.
Very sensible.
Very sensible
The
shoes.
non-stick. The
Non-skid, yeah. Yeah, everything was sensible, pragmatic.
Yep.
Hair was short. This is not, no real jewelry
No.
to be had. Nothing, no lip gloss
No.
or anything. They drove something boring and sensible. There was nothing sexy or fast or cool. No hair extensions, no skinny jeans, no nothing.
Now you got BBLs, you got makeup, you got 60-year-old women who look like they're in their late 40s at best.
Oh, yeah. And there was no, like, personal trainer, macrobiotic diets on a juice cleanse or anything. They're like, fuck it. I'm smoking. Where's the gravy? This is it.
I met a woman, so
And the
my
reason they
wife,
smelled is because they always had a lot of sweaters. And the sweaters maintained the smell.
which goes to the mothballs
And Sanka.
and Sanka.
Yeah.
My wife and I were out at this this poetry event, and this woman comes up to me, and she's flirting, and I was like, "Hey, my wife's right there," and she's like, "Oh, cool. Well, I'm poly," and I was like, "Oh, that's great," and I was like, "Excuse me, fast. How old are you?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm 60," and I was like, I was blown away because she looked like she was in her 40s, right? And I entertained it for a second, and I had to be like, no. My mama's 63. I'm not doing this.
Right.
But yeah, man, she did not look anywhere near what 60 looked like when I was a teenager.
I know, and if I think if you look at some of these guys, I don't know, Richard Branson or guys like that. I mean, those guys are probably. Richard Branson's probably 80 by now. Like, we're not just the president of the United States is 81, and he's signing up for a second term. So how can you not do stuff at that age?
Sam Jackson's 70 something.
Branson's only 73. Sam Jackson's 70 something. Nancy Pelosi's like 82. All the leaders, half the folks in the Senate and the House are like 75 or 80. I mean, this is not a young man's sport anymore.
No.
All right, what else do you got?
All right, so in Houston,
Leno. Is Leno 73? Is Leno 74? I mean, that guy's walking around, riding his motorcycle, driving a steam car, doing 250 dates a year.
Oh my
There's nothing
God,
old about
it.
Jay Leno. Imagine Jay Leno retiring at 65.
Yeah.
All right, what else?
So in Houston, they do the car and coffee meetups over there, but they have banned all muscle cars, Mustangs, Camaros, Chargers from participating in future events because of all the burnouts and reckless driving.
Wait, are you saying muscle cars or new muscle cars?
Any American muscle car.
Oh, I thought you said new when we were talking about before the show. I thought it was new muscle. That's weird.
Let's see. Let me make sure because this article says
because new muscle I get.
Prohibit
Those guys.
Mustang, Camaro, and Chargers drivers from participating in future events. Modern muscle car.
There it is. That's
There
the
you
difference.
go. Come on, Max.
I went from subtitled article.
You told me modern muscle car. That's the only reason I know. You physically told me. I didn't read it or anything. You just said modern muscle cars, and I went, that makes sense.
Yes.
Here, let me tell you how my brain works.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He said modern muscle car, and I went, that makes sense because all those guys in those Dodge Chargers are all fucking Vin Diesel fans, and they're all douchebags, and fuck that. Then you read the article, and you said muscle cars, and I'm like, that's your entire populace. As 65 Mustangs, Shelby Mustangs,
So that
Shelby
makes no
Cobras, old Dodge Chargers and Challengers from the 70s. You couldn't ban them. There'd be one guy in a Miata
Right.
with a Sanka, So now I didn't read it, but I got a brain that makes sense out of stuff.
So yes, burnouts and revving were the reasons. So
Yes, if
they're banned.
you guys drive around the freeway and you got the guy with the Dodge Charger or the Challenger. Let's see, Charger or Challenger. One's a 4-door, there's a 2-door. Anyway, and you're just going on the freeway and he goes by you, but for like 4 seconds and then slows down again and there's like up and down PCH. They just annoy people.
They are very annoying.
They're not skillful drivers. They're not, throwing the car around a canyon. They're not doing anything. They just make a shitload of noise for like 5 seconds and then slow down again. They're douchebags, and that's why they got banned because they're douchebags. That's why they banned them.
So those are the people that will buy those cars.
Yes.
What was the first car that you bought when you got your money?
Oh, well, when I got my money, I bought a 2 or 3 year old Nissan Maxima, and had them switch the interior from cloth to leather.
Oh.
And so I was so poor, I drove pickup trucks and motorcycles, and I just drove junker trucks.
Yeah.
Bench seat, no air conditioning, stuff like that. And then I bought this Nissan Maxima that was like 3 years old for like $17,000 or something. And it had leather, and it had air conditioning.
Yeah.
It had a CD player, and wipers that sense the rain or something.
Yeah.
And I thought I was riding high, and we had an event for Loveline, the TV show at the Playboy Mansion, and I came pulling up in my Nissan Maxima.
Proud.
Proud. Because it was such a step up from my
Yeah.
Nissan pickup trucks
Yes.
from the 80s. And I got out of the car, and the valets were there, and the Playmates and stuff. And like the producers like came over and go, "What the fuck are you driving? A fucking Datsun?" And I said, "That's a Nissan Maxima, bro, with leather interior, 6-speed. It's automatic. I don't have to shift. It's an automatic. And it has air conditioning and a heater." And they're like, "You should be driving a BMW or a Lexus or something." I was like, "It's so nice." I was like, "It's so nice." It was almost
You guys gotta
$20,000.
sit in this thing.
We're talking about almost a $20,000 vehicle
Yeah.
here, people. And they're like, "Yeah, you're driving a Datsun." And I was like, "I thought this was the nicest car I've ever owned." It was the nicest car
yeah.
I ever owned in my life.
Yeah.
But I was informed that it wasn't Playboy Mansion material.
People, man.
I know.
People would make you feel bad about some shit that you're excited about.
Write that down.
Damn.
Write it down. So yeah, they get the modern muscle.
Modern muscles.
The top of the food chain is Charger, Challenger, all Dodge, all Fast and Furious, all Vin
Mopar.
Diesel, all Mopar, modern.
Modern
And
Mopar.
then it goes down to like Mustangs, and that's a second tier douchebag move.
So Airbnb has announced that they are now banning the use of indoor security cameras in their listings globally.
That makes sense.
Beforehand, you were allowed to have indoor security cameras in common areas, and you had to make sure that they were known and visible. Mm-hmm. But now there's like, no more. You can't do it.
First of all, how you gonna ban some shit in my house? That's number one that I'm thinking. Two, I blame the perverts because that's who's been fucking it up for everybody.
That's who's complaining.
That's who's been doing it. It's like the people. It's one thing to have a camera in your common areas or maybe even outside of that, but it's like once you start having cameras in the bathroom.
Oh, they said the policy was always no bedrooms or bathrooms.
Oh, but people were ignoring that and doing it anyway.
Well, no, they would just put it in their living rooms because they don't trust these guys just throwing ragers in their living room.
I
where it's
get
getting
that.
crazy. Yeah, so they wanted to they would monitor them when they're away from home, but now they're just saying that if you want to Airbnb your house, you got to just trust your clients there, not
You know how many videos I've seen of people going to Airbnbs and trashing them or stealing from
Sure.
the Airbnbs, even though they have the credit card information. It might be somebody else's credit card that they put down and the other person staying there is not them. Man, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I just feel like most everything could be solved if people didn't act like fucking animals
Yes.
all the time. Like,
Yeah.
look, here's an opportunity. You don't have to stay in a hotel. You don't have to get 4 rooms. You and your friends can stay in one house. There's a bunch of sort of golden rule type agreements.
Yes.
Like they're going to let you use their pots and pans, but you can't eat one of their canned hams or whatever it is. And if you're going to take a shit, flush the toilet
Flush the
and we'll
toilet.
move on with our lives.
Yes.
Or you can try to pull the copper wiring out of the ceiling and steal this, and it's like, okay, and then you fuck it up for everyone.
Everybody.
This is basically, there's nothing better than beer out of a bottle. But you have to drink it out of a plastic bottle if you go to a stadium because one asshole threw the beer bottle on the field and hit an umpire, and nobody gets a beer bottle anymore. It's all plastic bottles.
These are
now.
great points.
And I didn't do anything to deserve this. I would like to sit there. I've never thrown anything on the field. I'm law-abiding. I want to sit back.
I'm
enjoy the game.
law-abiding.
I want to enjoy a beer in a cold glass bottle. But
Yeah.
nope. Not going to happen.
No.
And one guy brings a shoe bomb onto an airplane, and now all the shoes are coming off before you guys. This is how society works. It's a couple assholes. They ruin it for everybody. And that's how we craft our society.
Here's what I feel bad for. I kind of feel bad for you, especially with airports, because I didn't start flying until after 9/11. So it was like all I know is taking my shoes off,
yeah.
and until pre-TSA.
Yeah.
But it's like you had the experience before, and y'all had the freedom. You could go walk to the gate with your friend and kick it. I didn't have any of that.
The flight itself, man. If you had a first class flight to New York, they'd wheel the ice cream cart down
Really?
the
They have ice cream?
Any kind you want.
Unbelievable.
I
All
want
the
ice
different-
cream.
I wanted ice cream too. I would just sit there in first class and they'd go, "You want the chocolate, strawberry, vanilla?" I'd go, "Yep." I want all of it. And then they go, and you want the hot chocolate? Oh, sorry, you want the fudge topping? Or do you want the caramel? Or do you want the whipped cream? Or do you want the marshmallow fluff? I'd go, yep. Bring it all.
All the above.
All the above. And don't forget the nuts, bitch.
Don't forget the nuts, bitch.
Put it all on there. I go all of it. All the time.
It's first class. You paid for it. You might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, I was just telling someone I got yelled at in first class once because they used to have the whole champagne serving cart for before takeoff. Before takeoff, champagne serving cart. And I'm sitting in the very first row of first class just staring at that champagne serving cart. But the chick was in back, like helping people with their luggage. And after about 15 minutes, I was like, all right. And I just got up, started pouring myself a
Self-serve?
nice flute. I heard a woman scream from the back. Excuse me. This isn't a self-serve bar. And I'm like, well, first off, I'm doing your job. It's free. I'm pouring it. I got a lot of experience with that. I can handle this. And you're helping the dude with his luggage. So here we are.
Oh, see, you ruined it for everybody. That's what
You
it's
out of
doing.
callback.
No, you know what
That's
happened?
fire.
What happened was me and her got in a little scrap. Before we took off, she got pissed off. And I knew I was going to be in trouble for the rest of the flight. But I was flying with a dude who was sober. And she'd come around and go, you want anything to drink? To him. And I'd go, double vodka soda. Lemon. I'll take a double vodka soda. And I'd be like, I'm good. Because she was being a bitch to me. And he'd just get his drink and then he'd just slide it over to me.
That's classic. I think I've only had one. Okay, so when you're on the plane and they tell you the safety things, you got to pay attention, especially if you're sitting in like exit row or whatever. And I remember I was so tired. I had done maybe like 4 shows that weekend. And I was just like, this is the first flight out. I'm just ready to go to sleep. And I'm sitting there and I say to her before anybody even gets on, I say, ma'am, would you mind if I just listen to the safety protocols right now so I can just go to sleep? And she's like, no, we're not doing that. You got to wait till I say it to everybody. And I'm like, man, that's going to be another 30 minutes. I'm one of the first people on the flight. Well, you got to wait. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm starting to nod off. She taps me, does the safety protocols. I'm up. I hear it. I agree. Flight's going on. I go to sleep. Never in the history of you being asleep on the plane does the flight attendant come up and tap you and say, would you like a snack?
Oh.
I'm like, I don't want to be on this no-fly list. So I said, no, thank you. I'm trying to sleep. Could you just let me sleep, right? We're about to land. I already put my seat up after that last encounter because I know I don't want to be interrupted again. I put my seat up. I'm ready. I'm upright. I'm knocked out. She taps me. We're about to land. I say, bitch, if you don't leave me the fuck alone. And at that point, I was like, I'm about to get kicked off this plane. However, someone else defended me and I didn't get in trouble. But it was like, you've been fucking with me for the whole 5-hour flight, man. Yes, I definitely hear you, but
That bitch tried to slide him the peanuts when he had his hand out. I don't know if you know that. Put his hand out. She sat on the tray and she just slid it across. And
About
that
to move you to
fucking set
fries.
Clayton
About to
off.
move to fries,
You
man.
do not disrespect him by sliding things his direction. That's why he can't play blackjack.
Oh,
You know what I mean? The cards are being slid, the chips are being slid across things. He goes into a rage, a red hot rage at casino. You got to hand him everything. Dealer has to hand him the cards. Can't just deal it out. That's disrespect.
disrespect, man.
That's right.
The waiter drops off his food.
No, you can hand
put
it to him,
in
but
his
you
hand.
can't slide it.
No.
I even like when a waiter, like, sometimes, because I always have love for service people, especially in a restaurant. Like, I know these waiters are going through it. So if I see you carrying a lot of stuff, I might do like this to try and assist with you doing this before you drop the food off. So if I'm doing this and you still choose to slide it, I'm like, oh, you just fucked your tip up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you and you don't want to help. But,
All right, let's do one more.
All right, there's this mom in Texas who was arrested. So her son had a bully. And rather than taking her son to the neighbor's house to fight,
Yeah.
she made this drink, and it was mixed lemon juice, vinegar, salt, and Gatorade, and she put it in a sports bottle, and she said, hey, give this to that bully who stole your drink yesterday, and he'll never steal a drink again. So the kid does that. He goes to school, gives the kid this drink, the kid drinks it, and begins to experience nausea and a headache and is taken to the hospital. According to sheriff officials, the mom was arrested.
All right. This is all bullshit. Everything she just talked about is what you do if you're doing a cleanse. Like you drink, you put the
like
lemon
master
juice.
cleanse.
It's a fucking master
That's the
cleanse
master
drink.
cleanse.
If I said to Dr. Drew, oh God, I'm so hungover, I have such a throbbing headache and I have to go to work, he'd go, get some Gatorade, get some lemon juice, get some vinegar and get some salt, put it in a drink box and suck it down. This is all shit that rehydrates you. Emmy does his red wine vinegar every night, cider vinegar every night before he goes to bed. Half the people, I talked to a friend of mine who was on the master cleanse. That's all it was lemon juice and pepper and a little bit of honey and water and salt, whatever. Everyone will tell you got to do the salt, you got to do the electrolytes. This is a sports drink.
Yeah.
This is what you would hand your kid after he got home from wrestling practice. So him being nauseated and having a cramp or a headache, fuck
It was
that.
his body cleansing itself.
They fucking made this
body
shit.
releasing toxins.
This is bullshit. There's either something else was in that drink. And by the way, how dumb is this kid? Like, hey, you're the kid I fucked with yesterday, right? Yeah. Hey, I made you a drink. Here you go, Mongo. Enjoy. Like,
Hey, Harold, here you go.
yeah,
You're
but
right.
I wouldn't fucking take that.
No, that's the first thing I thought. Why would you, as the bully, take something that he's giving you willingly?
If it's a Gatorade and it's got the shrink wrap still on the cap, that's something.
Now we're talking.
But this is not.
Yeah.
So that's on him times 2.
Well, he gave it to the kid during PE class. The kid, and so the mom was said to have, quote, intentionally mixed the contents of a drink to allegedly prevent her son's drink from being stolen. She was arrested and booked into jail and charged with injury to a child causing bodily injury.
Nah.
Gatorade, lemon juice, vinegar, salt.
Okay, so the worst part of that equation is the Gatorade. Because you're supposed to do the vinegar, the salt, and the lemon everywhere else.
Yeah.
This is
I
a
don't buy
situation.
this. Something's wrong here.
And this is the workaround, right? What if the mother would have had the son prepare it on his own? She would have been in trouble. 2, I literally read something similar yesterday. This is about adults taking it into their own hands with the kid. A lunch lady was getting talked to crazily by these kids, and she paid 2 kids $20 to go beat the shit out of this kid. And I said, oh, she got arrested. But I said, this is brilliant. This is what I wish my mother would have done to my bullies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's hire some hitmen.
Man.
Mr. Walters, my PE teacher at Walter Reed, dispatched my buddy, who's the guy who got that guy in a headlock, who hit me with the baseball bat. He was a big kid. He was a roughhouser. He would dispatch him to go handle the nerds like all the time. Like he just go get them, Ray. Go take care of them.
I love that.
I can't do it, but you can do it. Sanction, you know.
What did you do to get hit with the bat? Is what I wanted to ask earlier.
I fought a guy in Studio City outside of this girl's house because this girl was nuts and I didn't like her and I wasn't attracted to her, and it was like a make-out party. It's like 4 girls and 4 guys and their parents were out of town, but I got stuck with the dud, you know. My one was nuts. And then all the other guys were in the rooms, you know, making out, having a good time. And I was like, I'm going to go home. And I guess she was a little insulted. There was a makeout party, and I was ready to leave. You know, like, I'll go home and rub one out. I'm good. You know, I didn't want anything to do with her. And then, so when we were walking out of the party, the makeout party, there's only, 8 people at the place. But it was like late. It was like midnight maybe. Mm-hmm. And then I was walking down the stairs. It was in the Studio City Hills off of like Valley Terrace or one of those streets up there, Valley Hard or something. Anyway, I was walking out, and then these 3 or 4 of these kind of thuggy guys were coming up the stairs to the party, but they were showing up late, you know? And then I was like coming down the stairs going like, yeah, excuse me, and they were coming up the stairs. And it was like a group. It was like a black guy, Mexican guy, 2 white guys. It was like, they had very diverse group.
Very diverse.
I could tell they were like a little dicey, and then I was walking down, and then this bitch was on the top of the stairs, on the landing, And as I was passing by these dudes, she yelled to the dudes that I hit her. Oh. So then, Then it was on with them.
You deserved it.
And I was like, no, she's nuts. I didn't hit her. And they're like, you think you're a tough guy, hit a girl, now they're not so tough now, are you, now that we're here, kind of thing. And I was like, first off, thank you. I made the right decision to leave your fucking lying ass. You've confirmed my decision to leave.
Right.
That part is good about this equation. And then I had arthroscopic knee surgery like only 3 or 4 days before then. It was a few days. And I had stitches in my knee, but there were just 3 or 4 little spots of stitches. It wasn't like a big gash with 50 stitches. But I had stitches in my knee. So then they start hassling me, and then there's one big Mexican guy, and he's like, I gotta beat your ass, dude, hitting a woman, whatever. And I had to beat you up, and I'm gonna beat you up. And then I just said, look, I got stitches in my knee, so I cannot fight.
Yeah, give them
but
your
weakness. Under normal circumstances, we would fight. I would fight. But, and I was being honest, I would do this under normal circumstances, but no, I got my knee was fucked up, and I still got stitches in it.
I'm left-handed.
That's right. Jab's my best punch. So the one guy, the Mexican guy, goes, "I'm gonna break your other knee."
Oh, okay.
And I was like, for some reason, I was like, okay, well now we're doing this, and we walked down the stairs to the street. And your mom was out there, actually, eating cereal, checking her watch. And so we went out into the street, and there's this big Mexican guy. And then I said, all right, now listen, this guy's dying to fight, and I got stitches in my knee. So you other dudes, you just stay out of this, right? Because you got this big tough guy here. He's your leader. He's the tough guy in this group. So I will fight the tough guy, but you all have to steer clear of this.
You putting out rules.
I put out rules. Then I started to beat the guy up.
Nice.
And then I whacked. I used to box. So then I whacked him one more time, and then he fell back into the group of dudes.
Nice.
And then I started getting mouthy at that point. And so I
This
said,
is a movie.
He wasn't coming back. He was gassed out, punched out, fucked up, and in the arms of his group. And then I was just standing in the street, and I had some adrenaline going. Of
course.
And I'd been landing at a high percentage rate.
Yeah.
So then I started going, come on, puss. You wanted to fight. You begged me. I wanted to go home. I told you I didn't want any of this, but no, you wouldn't have it. And now you're going to puss out on me. Now we're halfway into this thing, and you're going to sit around with your friends, and you're man enough to come back and finish. And that's when a bottle broke over me, but it was thrown, but still shattered. And then that's when I felt a bat hit my good knee, but on the back of it.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad. And then that's when they all jumped on me.
Here's my question. Where the fuck were your friends that were inside the party?
They were getting their dick sucked.
Oh, that will do it.
Yeah.
That will do it.
But later on, my crazy friend showed up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But that's after I got home, and I was a mess.
Damn it.
And when I got home, and then they found out I was a mess, they showed up. My scary friends showed up. And one guy, this is the baddest thing ever. One guy pulled a knife out, and my friends were nuts. And my friend grabbed the knife and broke it in half and threw it on the ground. That's how fucking nuts my friends were.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were nuts.
I've never seen it outside of a video game, by the way.
Someone busting a knife in half? There's a guy got the beer bottle busted on his head, and the other guy who got the guy in the headlock. Well, he got the guy in the headlock later after he hit me with the bat. This is why. The guy hit me with the bat. Yeah, they're good. They're loyal.
That is loyalty for sure. I love loyal friends. You can't buy that, and you can't beat that.
But we never called the cops
because nobody's snitching. I'm
No,
not
but said a
snitching even if I
word.
got my ass whooped.
Yeah. No, but it was It was fine. When they all jumped on me, then I got beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was still okay.
Man, the fact that you used to box, I love that you went into it with the confidence because you knew that you were going to come out victorious.
I knew how to box, and I knew no one else knew I knew how to box. And so I was just always said,
advantage.
I don't want any trouble.
Yep.
And once you say I don't want any trouble to assholes,
They want to get you that trouble.
Get some trouble, yeah.
yeah. And that big Mexican guy moved into my apartment building like 5 years later. That's all.
Did he ever give you any more problems?
No, because I kicked his ass.
Good,
Yeah.
man.
I kicked his ass.
Glad he didn't want to read that.
He knew I kicked his ass when he moved in my apartment building 5 years later. He didn't want any trouble. He thought I was fucking nuts.
Good.
Because I got hit with a bat, and then I got a bottle broken on me, and then I fought the black dude after all that.
Yeah.
That was the second fight of that night. There was 2 fights that night. So that Mexican dude thought this guy was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of it was luck, I would say, but he still thought I was crazy. So when he moved to my apartment 5 years later, he left me alone. He didn't say anything. Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Chick was crazy.
What the fuck what is she doing? I was watching ESPN. She was like a little heavy, and I was like, it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to head out, That's all I did. What do you mean I hit? Ugh.
Insane.
I love a chubby chick, but I understand your perspective from that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad. If you got enough to satisfy them,
Yeah.
All right, Clayton, let me give you a plug before we move on to our next guest. B for the Bell podcast. That is a B and a 4, the Bell podcast. And also Instagram at CT is dope as well. And then we'll be looking out for when you go out on tour.
Thanks,
come back.
man.
You say hi.
I'm honored. Thank you so much for even having me. This has been a pleasure and a treat.
And
Likewise.
same here. Likewise.